Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call this Education Commission meeting to order at 5:06. Let's begin with the invocation.
Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business, guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Do I need to repeat that? Okay.
Go ahead and move on to the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Mendez. Thank you, Commissioner Mendez. Commission Secretary, roll call for attendance.
Chairperson Miguel Flores,
Present.
Vice Chair Cristina Paulo,
Present.
Commissioner Oscar Boado,
Present.
Commissioner Andrew Leon. For the record, Andrew Leon is absent. Commissioner Gustavo Mendez.
Present.
Commission Secretary, any public comments?
For the record, there's no public comments.
Thank you. Let's move on to the agenda item number 1, approval of Education Commission minutes. Have we all reviewed? Are there any additions or edits for the minutes?
None on my end.
None? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
First motion by Vice Chair Paulo and second by Commissioner Mendez. Move on to our second agenda item, which is Recreation and Community Services Department update.
Thank you, Chairperson. Okay, the Recreation and Community Services is gearing up for summer. We are starting summer camp June 19th, and we are planning 7 weeks of day camp. We have 2 age groups, kids camp for 5 to 7 and youth camp for 8 to 12 years of age. And we also added, once again, our volunteer program for teens 8th grade through 12th grade. And as a volunteer, they'll be assisting rec leaders on running the day camp. So they'll be learning job skills and leadership skills, but they'll also get to participate in the fun and games. And again, that starts June 19th and ends August 4th, and that'll be at Bell Gardens Veterans Park this summer. We also are running our Bell Gardens Scholars Program. We've received several applications. The submission due date is Thursday, June 15th. And first place award is $3,000 for that. Second place is $2,000, third place is $1,000, and honorable mention is $500. And you all have a flyer in your package. The graduate program launched this year. And the city will be recognizing their high school graduates by posting banners in our city median street in the city medians. Sorry. I visited the high school this morning trying to promote the program. We have about 50 applications so far. That was my goal for the first year, to have at least 50. And we also have some city employees who are high school seniors, and so they'll be joining as well. But we do have time to submit more applications. If any of you know someone who's interested or want to help promote it, There is a copy in your package as well, and I could email you a digital copy if you're interested. The city hosted a Memorial Day ceremony on Memorial Day at the Veterans Park Memorial, and we had the Sentinels there, the police department, honor guard, and we had Lance Santiago, a Marine Corps veteran, as our keynote speaker. Representative from Congressman Robert Garcia's office was there to recognize Lance and two of his fallen brothers for their service and sacrifice. It was a beautiful ceremony with military taps, and we had a beautiful wreath out there. I'm not sure if any of you attended, but it was a beautiful ceremony. We are also planning the employee graduation celebration. It was something that started during the pandemic to celebrate city employees and city volunteers but we've continued the program, and that is actually next Wednesday, June 14th at 6 p.m. at Veterans Park and at Ross Hall. And the city will be honoring all grads and highlighting their achievements. Our city STAR program is returning. STAR is for a program for adaptive recreation. I'm having a stuttering issue today, excuse me. And they've been meeting once a month, but the program will return to its regular schedule of meeting every Friday starting June 16th. And the city's been improving the building. We're making special accommodations for STAR program. That'll be their home at the old senior center. So we need to start calling it the STAR room, just to get ourselves used to it. But that'll be their own space. They've met there for years, every Friday, but now it'll be decorated for them. And the program, the staff that are working the program have been in training for a few months, and it's all new staff for STAR. So we're really excited to be returning back to some normalcy. In sports, we have our small fry soccer program that's just about to end. They've completed 5 successful weeks, and they'll be having their awards ceremony soon. Youth baseball had 136 participants this year, and that's for ages 8 to 13. And they began May 15th, and their award ceremony is to be determined. It should be soon. Team basketball as well. We had 38 participants this year, and they've been playing since May 17th when they had their first evaluations. And senior soccer, they had their playoffs recently. And the top 6 teams of the division competed for the championship. And their semifinals were on Friday, May 12th. And the golf course had a tournament, a junior SCPGA tournament. And so they've been having a few tournaments at the golf course as well. Ross Hall, we host community celebrations at Ross Hall often. Last month, we hosted a Girl Scout event. It was adult and scout party. And they did like a tea party, a paint party. This month, we hosted 2 of the sports teams at the high school. We hosted girls soccer, end of the year banquet, and we also had a basketball banquet, I believe. And so we've been hosting a lot of high school events at Ross Hall, including Head Start teacher meetings. So they're back as well. We haven't seen them in a few years, and they had their first meeting recently. And that's all I have. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Our summer concerts and movies start next week. And our first concert is the Past Action Heroes. Do you have my notes here? That's an 80s tribute band. And our second concert is Gabrielito y La Verdad, which is a really popular salsa band in LA. Our third band is Corazón de Maná, and our final band is Miriam Neblina Latin Band, who closed our summer season last year and were very popular. Our movie lineup is Minions: Rise of Gru. Our second movie is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Our third movie is Disney's Luca, and our final movie is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And I was told that when the movie premiered, people went to the theater dressed up with suits on. And so we might see some of that at the park this summer. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update. Any questions? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our agenda items. So there's a couple of things for our ad hoc committees and membership. So this is going to take a little bit of discussion before we jump into it. Particularly, I want to take the moment to welcome Commissioner Leon as we're going to start looking at the commissions themselves. As of now, we have 3 commissions that are part of this particular ad hoc committees that are part of this commission. The first one is the Banner Program, which is obviously off and running. Thank you to staff. The second is our scholarship, which is in line with the Banner Program, which has now been expanding. And then finally, we have the Safer Routes Commission. It was last month that commissioners suggested that we have a health fair ad hoc committee. So we want to go ahead and try to go ahead and discuss that today. It is my recommendation that I think what we should do is we should merge the Banner Program and the scholarship, and then merge and create a health and safety Safer Routes Committee. That way, both of those will work in line with the health fair and still maintain the relationship with Safer Routes, since it's a brand new committee. Any thoughts on, I know we've talked about the Banner and the scholarship one work coming together. Any thoughts on any other committees or of the merging? Vice Chair?
I would concur with the merging of the 2 committees for the scholarship and the Banner Program. Banner Program, I think, is pretty straightforward. For the banners, it's just the scholarship would need a little bit more work in streamlining the application process and the criteria for reviewing their applications and what we're looking for when we're rating them. So I would concur with merging those 2 committees.
Commissioner Boyle, any comments?
Yeah, I'm in agreement also with that. I was just thinking about the safety and health ad hoc. How would that work? Safety would have to be, we're talking about CERT, basically. Correct? Or
So
anything that comes up.
So the Safer Routes committee was looking at trying to find literally a best way for students and people to kind of literally travel from point A to point B. And what would that be the case? And we talked about this about a couple months ago. So with that line, I figure since that's going to be an ongoing one that deals with the general safety as well as health, we kind of merge those as well.
Okay, so then there's 3 components to it. There's the health fair, there's CERT, and then there's the safety route. So it's 3 things into merging that. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
If I may comment, the CERT program comes through the county, so we wouldn't be planning any of that other than reserving the hall and setting the date. So I don't think an ad hoc would be necessary for the CERT training.
Okay, in that case, yeah, I'm good.
Commissioner Mendez?
Yeah, I see more benefits than cons when it comes to merging them. So yeah, I'm in agreement as well.
Commissioner Lowe, any new comments? You're good there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know I just joined, but sounds like a plan. So great.
Okay, this also allows us, commissioners to be on both committees if they wish, but also notwithstanding, you could just remain on one and still be just as busy as everybody else. So let's go ahead and begin with our first vote or our first motion to go ahead and merge committees. And then after that, we can take a pause to figure out which committees you would like to be part of. So can I get a motion to merge the scholarship and banner committee?
I, Gustavo Mendez, motion to merge the committees.
Thank you. Commissioner Mendez, can I get a second?
I second that motion.
Commissioner Secretary, do we need a roll call?
Chairperson Miguel Flores,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cristina Paulo,
Aye.
Commissioner Oscar Boado,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrew Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Gustavo Mendez.
Aye.
Motion's passed. We will be merging banner and scholarship committee. Can I get a motion to merge safer routes and a health fair committee?
A motion to merge the safer route and what was it?
Health fair.
And the health fair committee, sorry.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Can I get a second?
I, Commissioner Mendez, second.
Thank you. Commissioner Secretary, can we get a roll call?
Chairperson Miguel Flores,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cristina Paulo,
Aye.
Commissioner Oscar Boado,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrew Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Gustavo Mendez.
Aye.
Great. So now we have two ad hoc committees, the Senior Scholarship Committee and the Banner Program, which will probably require the most assistance in the next week or so. Senior Scholarship and the Banner Program will tend to start planning around January-ish or late December, and then is eager to get everything ready for April, May. That way, all the applications can be out. Banners go up around mid-July. And the senior scholarships are read and completed by July. So that would be a late December into early June focus. The idea behind the banner program is, of course, to encourage and engage those students that are moving on from senior year into the next phase of their life. For the Senior Scholarship Committee, I believe that is, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 seniors at or any Bell Gardens resident that is a senior or attends Bell Gardens High School, we can go ahead and give them a scholarship for their next steps. Okay, that's the first ad hoc. The second ad hoc is our safer routes. We are looking at the safety of our students that are here because there are so many schools within the city limit. We want to look at ways of communicating. So that would really take precedent in August and looking at ways in which we can communicate with schools or help them figure out safer routes for their students and or late parent nights, which kick off in September and in October. So it'd be more of a fall-based component, as well as looking at helping with the 5K or any health fair or anything that the staff would mean going into October, November. You obviously can go year-round, being on both committees, but it is recommended if you can to participate in at least one. Okay. So let's take a pause real quick to figure out which ones you would like. We would go ahead and, Commissioner Secretary, correct me if I'm wrong, we would go ahead and name the people and then vote. Correct? And then move on to the next one. Okay. Okay. Before we vote, does anybody have any interest in being in both committees? Okay, Commissioner Leon, would you have an interest in being in both?
If I'm not sure, is it a certain capacity? Is that 2 per, like, I mean, I know there's.
That's the beauty of it, because we now merge them, you can actually be in both.
If there's room, but I just want to leave it open.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Okay, oh, Vice
I'm
Chair,
open.
okay,
Yeah,
Alright.
same here. I'm open as well, so.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's just once we narrow down logistics, then I have a bigger picture and understanding of how we're going to move forward.
sounds good. I think Commissioner Leon for urging us all to give back to our community. Let's go ahead and look at the first one. Who would like to be part of the Senior Scholarship and Banner Program Committee?
If nobody objects, I don't mind remaining on that committee.
Okay, Vice Chair? Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Leon, I will also be on that committee as well. Okay,
If I may ask, as a whole, when it comes to reading those applications, that's already including all of us, whether you are in that ad hoc committee or not, right?
correct. Thank you
Okay.
for the clarification. Whenever there is a scholarship or an award to be done, we do it as a unit and as a group. It is not done just as the committee itself. It is done as an entire commission. So the committee will be responsible for helping out staff and rolling out and addressing any questions, as well as helping with updates once this commission has questions as well. Okay, so as of now, I have myself, Vice Chair Paulo, and Commissioner Leon on the Senior Scholarship and Banner Program. Okay. For Safer Routes and Health Fair,
I, Commissioner Mendez, am interested.
okay. Commissioner Boado,
I'm also interested.
okay. And Commissioner Leon, you would like to be on both?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so as it sits now, before we vote, I have Vice Chair Paulo, Commissioner Leon, and myself on the Senior Scholarship and the Banner. And we have Commissioner Mendez, Commissioner Boado, and Commissioner Leon on the Safer Routes and Health Fair. Anything else for discussion before we vote?
Yes, when you had your meeting earlier this year, did they discuss having meetings with 3 or more of you?
So it'd be what, 2?
I thought it was limited to 2.
If,
Okay, so let me go ahead and correct this. Commissioner Leon, would you mind stepping out of one of the committees?
No, I don't mind at all. That's what my question was like, was there a capacity limit, like a certain, but yeah, I don't mind. Go ahead, choose.
Due to recent education, I have been told that there is a limit. So
Yeah,
only 2
yeah.
per. Okay,
Sure.
so would you like to join the Banner Scholarship one, or could you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So for now, we have Vice Chair Paulo.
if you wanted to be on that committee, I don't mind stepping down. Since you signed up for it,
It's up to you. I'd
since I
like,
was on it the last time, if you'd like to be on it, I'm more than willing to step down and take my vote away.
Considering that.
are you okay with that? Okay, so myself and Commissioner Leon would be on,
Yeah, it's fine. I'm good. I'll think of it.
well, it has to work out this way. There can only be 2 people on the committee. So what I was gonna recommend is Commissioner Paulo, because she's been on there, can help kind of bring you up to speed. And then Commissioner Boado and Commissioner Mendez would be on the additional one.
That is perfectly fine with me.
Okay, sounds good. So thank you very much for letting us know about the Brown Act. And we're gonna go with Vice Chair Paulo and Commissioner Leon on the Senior Scholarship and Banner Program. And Commissioner Mendez and Commissioner Boado on the Safer Routes and Health Fair. How are we doing? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and vote first on. Can I get a motion to put Vice Chair Paulo and Commissioner Leon on the Senior Scholarship and Banner Program?
I motion that.
Can I get a second?
I, Commissioner Mendez, second.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's go ahead and move on to Commissioner Secretary to roll call.
Chairperson Miguel Flores,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cristina Paulo,
Aye.
Commissioner Oscar Boado,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrew Leon, Commissioner Gustavo Mendez.
Aye.
Okay, that is passed. It is official that Vice Chair Paulo and Commissioner Leon will be on the Senior Scholarship and Banner Program Committee. Can I get, let's move on to the Safer Routes and Health Fair Committee. Can I get a motion to put Commissioner Mendez and Commissioner Boado on the Safer Routes and Health Fair Committee?
I'll motion to put, sorry, Commissioner Boado and Commissioner Mendez on the Safer Routes and Health Fair Committee.
Can you get a second? Rich Secretary, can we get a roll call?
Chairperson Miguel Flores,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cristina Paulo,
Aye.
Commissioner Oscar Boado,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrew Leon, Commissioner Gustavo Mendez.
Aye.
Okay, so if there's no discussion or questions, we have now created Safer Routes and Health Fair. Commissioner Mendez and Commissioner Boado will help lead that cause. For these ad hoc committees, it works best to directly communicate with staff. And they will go ahead and meet either and set up meeting times, so you can go ahead and work with them as we move forward on these major events that are sponsored by the Education Commission. Good. Okay, let's move on. We have two additional agenda items. We have we're looking at summer literacy, which was brought up as a partnership that we're looking at. Vice Chair, would you care to introduce that agenda item?
As students get out of school this summer, I thought it'd be great to promote summer literacy. According to the American Library Association, summer reading programs encourage lifelong readers. And it generates interest in library and books. So I thought if we could possibly reach out to the county library next door. And maybe, I know usually the library does some kind of reading challenge. And I know they do tracking through the Beanstack app. So maybe working with them and doing something, maybe the kids could have a little passport book. When they finish those activities on the app, they can come show somebody at the city, give them a stamp. And maybe if we have funds left over from scholarships, we can get the kids little rewards as incentives to encourage them to read throughout the summer. And I know the city usually sponsors a backpack or school supply giveaway at the end of the summer. I thought, well, I don't know how it would work out. I was told the last one was the drive-by, right? So I thought if it wasn't a drive-by, we could invite the city library. They could set up a little booth and do library cards, get kids registered for a library card so that they can visit the library and they can learn about the resources that are offered by the library. And then I thought if the city wanted to do a book drive during that supply giveaway, we can host a little free library and parents and children can come get a book from the free library, that book drive that were books that we got from the book drive. So that was something that was feasible.
Thank you. Any comments?
Yes, if I may add, thank you, Christina, great idea. I will reach out to the library, but just as a reminder, same with the Safer Route and the health fair, we do need to get council's approval, city manager's approval, but we will take it to council and I will do my best like always. Okay.
I think the library card registration for city residents is a great idea, Vice Chair.
I worked at the library and I know they do a lot of community events and they usually set up a little table and they can do library cards on the spot.
Yes, I plan on inviting them after her suggestion. I plan on inviting them to our summer night series for concerts and movies.
Great, that'd be a great idea. Also, if we could maybe somehow identify ways in which we can expose or kind of show more social media on that as well, because if they are using an app, maybe somehow connect that as well on the summer nights. That'd be an easy way to get what they call them, the young people involved.
Commissioner Paula, what was the app that you mentioned?
I believe it's most libraries use, it's called Beanstack.
Thank you.
So I have a question with that. I know you mentioned as far as the concert series, right, or movie nights, would that mean once the city manager and I guess the council members approve, would that means we'll reach out, well, sorry, the city staff members will reach out to the LA County Library to see if they could set up a booth at every single concert?
Yes, I'll reach out to the library, but like in regards to the book drive or including something at the backpack giveaway, that we do need approval for. I don't know if there's any budgetary restrictions, if we would need to pay for anything. And so because we don't have a line item for that, I would need to get approval.
Thank you.
Additionally, on a note on budget, we would have to wait to see if there was any money left over on senior scholarship for that idea to take place, but we could create a line item in the future to give some small scholarships throughout. Any other discussion on this agenda item? Okay, let's move on to our fifth one, emergency supply kit workshop. I believe it's going to work nicely with our new ad hoc committee.
September is National Preparedness Month, so I thought we could start ahead before we get to September and host a disaster preparedness kit workshop or an emergency kit workshop with our community residents. The purpose is to build community resilience. And I think in times of disasters, building self-reliant residents is a big key in people surviving a disaster and reducing, we all know that when there's a disaster, resources are going to be very limited. And if we can create self-reliant residents, they can take care of themselves, maybe a neighbor. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have a disaster kit workshop. I do know that the city has a new liaison with the fire department. It's Herlinda Chico. She's a Commerce native, BGHS graduate. So I thought we could reach out to her and she'd be more willing to get something scheduled for us. Maybe invite a fireman, somebody in the CERT program over there at the fire department that can come instruct the workshop. Also, the Office of Emergency Management, they provide these survival guides. And it's a good resource. It has a lot of great information that the residents can use and to get their kits together, all kinds of things. It comes in a lot of different languages. It's available hard copy, or they can go online and access that. I provided a link when I sent my agenda item in. I do know that some of the libraries carry them. So we don't reach out to the Office of Emergency Management. We can see if the library has any copies that they can give us for the workshop. But that was just my idea for disaster month coming up in September.
I have a question. Did she replace Maggie Valdivia?
She retired.
Right, but
She's replacing.
Chico, okay.
I think that's an excellent idea, but even to take it a step further and maybe make it easier, right? If feasible, we have, the city has social media, so maybe a city staff member can actually do a video and show how to actually prepare or do a kit.
Yeah,
And then on top of that too, like on the newsletter, right? In English and Spanish, what items you could actually place in the kit.
and I have a page about what you should have it. Sorry, the survival guide that's available through the Office of Emergency Management. It has a page about what to pack in your kit. So it's got a lot of good information about a lot of different things to do with emergencies and disasters. So if we could get some of those from the county, I know they have a bunch. All you got to do is call that office and let them know you'd like to get some of those. And you can go pick them up. I used to do it for the library. That's how I know the library has copies, but it's a very good resource. At the least, we can give the residents the link to that online electronic copy. And like I said, it comes in a lot of different, several different languages. So it comes in Spanish, Arabic, lots of different languages. It's available.
Thank you, Commissioner Paulo, and thank you, Commissioner Boado, for the video suggestion. We have a new social media team, a marketing team with our rec leaders, and so that would be a great assignment for staff to create the video.
Any additional discussion points on this agenda item?
Yes, I'm wondering what's the formality or process when it comes to inviting other nonprofit entities or other faith-based groups or organizations within our locality. For example, as we're presenting this, I was already thinking like the neighborhood watch team that we have here in Bell Gardens, how fruitful and beneficial that would be with inviting them over to assist and to contribute, right? And then also, you know, I'm already thinking long term, like in these type of events, we could also bring like ham radio, you know, and explain how our lovely technology will not be reliable in times of natural disaster, and how we might go old school, right? And how that could also be leading to a program in the future for youth programs and learning radio ham communications, so to speak, right? This again, it just branches out more that CERT ideology, how we could be more self-reliant, as my fellow commissioner already mentioned, and it's a multi-tiered, multi-layered process, right? Radio communications, the emergency pods in the city, et cetera, et cetera. So I wonder what's the restrictions when it comes to inviting future faith-based groups, agencies, organizations within our city. Thank you.
We do partner with the Neighborhood Watch often. They're my go-to when I need volunteers. If I need any sort of assistance, I partner with the Neighborhood Watch. And they're typically the group that will invite the faith-based groups for events or health fairs. And so we're there already with that partnership. And then as a reminder, we are in line for the CERT training finally, and the county is training their firefighters. They currently have a lot of new firefighters, and so we don't have anybody that can perform the CERT training yet.
And I just thought that this would be a good starting point to get our residents encouraged to take initiative, start planning ahead in anticipation of future CERT classes to come.
Yeah, that's the way I was seeing it too, that we could entice them with this current one so that it lines up smoothly for that big event for CERT training.
It's good. Just to formally mention, procedures for inviting any nonprofits or faith-based groups or any third parties, we traditionally speak to staff first, identify the relationship, and then kind of go through that lens. Instead of us reaching out individually, it's best if we figure out if they already had a previous relationship or a current relationship with our city or with our staff already. That could be handled via email. Good. Okay, moving on. Are there any public comments?
For the record, there's no public comments.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to commissioner comments. Normally I go last, but the one thing I do want to mention for commissioner comments is a non-agenda item meeting idea is traditionally what we've done in the past is for our July meeting, we tend to focus on the senior scholarship essays, which take up about a week of our time or so to read all the senior scholarship essays, grade them, rate them, and then give them back. Just let you know, the senior scholarship essays are a blind read. And so none of us have any information. And so it does take us a good amount of time to do so. In lieu of that, what we've tended to do is not have our formal July meeting. And so I wanted to have a brief just comment on that. Commissioner, would we need a vote? No? Okay, or an agreement?
We don't need to vote on that.
Okay. So that's the one thing I just wanted to say. Vice Chair, any comments on that?
No comments.
Okay.
Just a recommendation.
Okay, so that would be my recommendation, that we tend to do that. Is the commission okay with focusing on the senior scholarships? And then that would mean that our next meeting would be in August.
That's good for me.
Same.
Yeah, because the idea behind it is that we're still in communications via email and the sort, right? And then I'm assuming we'll be getting the rubric prior to reading, or is going to be at the same time?
Yeah, so the rubric and, oh, go ahead, Commissioner. The rubric and the stack and packet, we would all show up individually, that we would not be meeting as well. Have our own separate time, pick up our packets, and then do our own reading, grading, rubric, and then return them at an assigned deadline. Yeah, it does take a good amount of time, and it does get actually pretty tough. These last year, I myself as an individual were balancing like 10 winners when I could only pick 3. So that was tough.
Yes, last year we ended up giving all the applicants an honorable mention award. I don't know that we can do that this year. I've asked already. And then you mentioned that it's a blind read, so that means we have to make sure to go through all the documents and remove anybody's name and address. So it takes a little bit of time after we receive all the applications.
Yeah, so that would take the majority of our July. Okay. Okay, outside of that,
I was just gonna suggest, I know Commissioner Mendez kind of mentioned, would he like the rubric beforehand to review it? Because usually we get at the same time when we get the essays. Are you suggesting for us to get the rubric beforehand to go over it and then get the essays after the fact?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Boado. Yes, exactly that, because as I could, as my chairperson just shared, it's gonna be difficult, right? Because I could just imagine every single one of them are just gonna be strong in many ways. And with the rubric in hand prior, then I have a deeper understanding of what I'm looking for in an essay when I'm reading. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter.
I can send that to everyone via email. If there are no suggestion from the ad hoc committee to make any changes. Last year we made a little bit of an improvement to it, so long as you don't have any changes for it, I can send it to you all.
before you send it, can you check in with Commissioner Leon and Commissioner Paulo via email to see that it would work out? And then they could send it to us before we get everything. That's a great recommendation.
Yeah, and I was just gonna piggyback on that as far as changes, like we could make changes after the program ends and go from there, because every year it's evolving, basically.
Good. Okay, so that was my commissioner comment for now. Let's go ahead and move on. Vice Chair.
I just want to thank our city staff for all the great work they continue to pour out into our community, and I'm just looking forward to the college banners. Thank you.
Commissioner Boado.
Once again, I always say this, I sound like a broken record player. Just props to all city staff, especially recreations, community services department. They do amazing work. I'm looking forward to attend a lot of these concerts in the park and movies, which, you know, I'm guilty to say I haven't been to one of them due to work, but this year I plan to attend. Thank you.
Great, we look forward to seeing you there.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Leon.
Yes, I want to just start off by saying apologize for missing my 2 meetings or meeting that I was just starting off with the commission, but I just want to say I'm very honored and it's a privilege to be joining this commission. It seems like you guys are on a roll here and doing amazing things for the community. So to be part of that and joining this team so early, late in the game, I just want to say commend you all for all that you're doing for the community and great things are coming in, of course, to the staff and for following through with that. So thank you so much. I'm honored to be here and I look forward to, bring to whatever capacity I can to this team. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Mendez.
No comments other than thank you, staff, as always, for those events. And yes, as everybody shared, looking forward to the next ones this summer. Thank you.
A formal welcome to Commissioner Leon and thank you for everybody today on the ad hoc committees. We have a lot of work to do, as you can see. And that's our last agenda item. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Oh,
Sorry, I just wanted to say one thing about the banner program. This morning when I went to the high school, majority of the kids who were not interested in participating was because they don't want their picture up. And I must have talked to about 100 students who said, no, thank you. So that is going to be a discussion. Our director is going to talk to our city manager about that. So it might change. It might include their photos. It might be an option. But I wanted to make sure that you're aware of that.
What about for the students who don't want their pictures shown? We just have their names on the banner.
Eventually, that's what I told some of the students. Fill out your application and we'll discuss the photo later because I must have received about 100 no's from all the students I was talking to who they don't want their picture up, including 2 of the top 10 students.
thank you for that update. And it looks like it's going to be something that we're going to continue to evolve with. And it gives us expectations for the banners. I do appreciate that. Any other comments? No. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 5:51 PM. Thank you, everybody.